What is happening, everybody? Joseph coming your way. This is Final Fantasy IX. No Weapon Man run. My bad. I was so used to calling it No Magic Run, but no, this is the Weapon Man run here. All right, yeah. So, whoops. Let me get back in control of my screen. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so we are in Lindblum, and we're about to do a whole bunch of stuff in Lindblum so we can continue on with the game here. Yeah, that is a letter from Ruby. And you'll get more letters from Ruby eventually. But yes, so the events that take place when you arrive in Lindblum lead you to Zidane, exploring the business and other districts of Lindblum on his own. And you can do a whole bunch of stuff here. To summarize the events that took place in the dialogue that happened at the castle, the ruler, Sid, was turned into an Alglop by his wife, who he was unfaithful to. But more importantly than that, he staged that Garnet be kidnapped because he thought that she was in danger by being in Alexandria. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to. That's pretty much all you get out of the endless dialogue, seemingly endless dialogue in Lindblum Castle. So yeah, I'm just collecting a few items here before performing the cotton robe trick for the first time, and you will see exactly how that works out. And yeah, like I said, this is the business district. There is a Stelazio coin here you can get, but it does not appear yet. You will need to wait until it actually appears, and that will be in a later act. So, by act I mean disc, but I'm playing the PC version, which does not use discs, so I just separated them in the acts. Yeah, just like there's 4 discs of the PS1 version of this game, there are 4 acts in this version. That's what I call it. So yeah. All right. And this is where you can buy everything. So I'm going to be performing the cotton robe trick for the first time here. So here's how you do it. You need 2 things. You need wrists, which you can buy in Dolly. As you can see, I already have 42 of them. They cost, 130 gil per piece there. And then you can buy steepled hats here in Lindblum for 260 a piece. And I want to buy 40 of those as well. So, and you can combine wrists with steepled hats along with 1,000 gil and buy a cotton robe that you can then sell for 2,000 gil, and I'm going to be doing that. And that's how synthesis is done. You take one item, you combine it with another, or you can double up on one item sometimes, if that's even a thing. I think it is, but I'm not really sure. And then you can buy a newer and better piece of equipment. And you could do this by selling these cotton robes over and over and over, since they sell for 2,000 gil a piece. So, there we go. And you could do that to make a very good profit for the beginning of the game, and especially going into the second act. You cannot do the cotton robe trick past the second act because as events in this game take place, as they keep taking place, stores will upgrade their equipment that they sell. So certain things will not be able to be bought as the game progresses. Wrists and steepled hats are 2 of these things, as well as a few others. So this gives you an incentive to really almost hoard the stuff you buy, essentially. Which, to me, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It can get your inventory pretty cluttered up. But I do enjoy the fact that you do need to keep pretty much everything you buy because it's important. Let's see, I'm down to 7 wrists and I'm down to 5 steeple hats. That's fine. So yeah. So what I am going to do is I'm going to refill my steepled hats here, and then I get a chance to go back to Dolly later on in the game, and I will buy some more steepled hats there. So I will get some more stuff at the synthesis shop as well because I need to. So yeah, I do want to keep a few cotton robes on hand, just a couple of them for my magic users who aren't really going to be my magic users. So I'm going to keep 2 of them on hand. I do need a mithril dagger for Zidane as a weapon upgrade, as well as as an ingredient for a thief sword that I'll be able to get eventually. The javelin I'm not going to need. The fork I'm not going to need. Those are for players who will join me later on. I do want to get a glass armlet, just one. 1 pair of silver gloves. I do find another, and I'm going to get 40 more steepled hats. 2 things: headgear. Let's see. Then in Kiris for either Steiner or Freya, who you meet during the events in Lindblum. And you meet her when Sid invites everybody to eat, but Zidane passes it up to go to a pub that he goes to, and then he meets Freya there. So I want to get the yellow scarf, but I can wait until later. The synthesis items usually don't upgrade the way that regular weapons and armor do. So what you can get here, you can usually get in other shops as well. I do need to go to the item store and get some potions, however. I did use a lot of potions, as you saw during the fight with Black Waltz 3. So yeah, just gonna get a few of those. I do want a few tents as well, and I'll explain why when it becomes pertinent. Next major boss of this game, you can use a tent on it, and it will be way easier to defeat. And I'm going to use this technique as a strategy for fighting that boss. So, yeah. I'm not going to talk to any of the NPCs. I kind of want to keep this as, I don't want to say spoiler-free, but definitely, like, I want it to be more of a technical playthrough than anything else, where more of a walkthrough than anything else. But yeah, so, and this is an active time event that involves Vivi doing some shopping at the place we were just at. Cool. Another ATE you can view is called Small Town Night in a Big City, where Steiner interacts with some of the people in Lindblum's business district, and you get some funny stuff there. And he buys some, like, a pickle, like a thing called Gasol pickles from somebody, eats them in like one sitting or whatever. That's pretty silly. So yeah. And there you see the owner of the item shop talking about the festival of the hunt, which is something that Lindblum does as a tradition. And she instead of calling the monsters you fight beasts, she said animals. And it kind of tricks Vivi into thinking that it's going to be like a visit to the zoo or something like that. It's pretty funny. The industrial district of Lindblum doesn't have much to offer in terms of stuff you can find, I don't think. So I'm not even going to go there. Go straight to the theater district, and that's where we need to go to advance the plot. So there we go. Good stuff. I lowered a few settings, just because my PC apparently can't really handle this. Let me know how that works. Hopefully it's better than what it was, or as good, or whatever. I did record this yesterday, but for some reason it dropped way too many frames and it was really bad. So yeah. Remember this place I just came to for later, way later in the game, during Act 3. Uh, yeah, it'll be important then. And you can go down here. This leads to the theater of Lindblum, and you can meet a person who is really popular, but dresses up as a Moogle, and then he goes to that place I just showed off, and hides there, and you can mess with him a little bit. And yeah, that's what I was talking about, that ATE. But I just summarized it, so why even bother, right? And this is, well, this is the hideout of Tantalus, yeah. And they have not really come home yet. Now Zidane looks like he's bored. And this signifies apparently that a performance in the theater has ended, so yeah. Now we get to see what Garnet's doing. Ah. Wouldn't that be a good reason for her to walk around and stuff? Since, like, they wouldn't really notice her at all? If they would notice her at all? I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, so Garnet is stuck in that guest room in the castle. And one theme that you'll find in this game is that the children are brutally honest and will say what is pretty much is on any adult's mind. Even though he's 16 years old, Zidane is pretty much considered an adult in this kind of setting, I suppose. Yeah, see, as this kid's like, yo, did you ask her out yet? And Zidane's like, oh, yeah, well, you know. I kind of did ask her out, but whatever. And then this girl's like, yo, she probably misses you. And yeah, so the kids in this game are pretty clairvoyant. And of course Garnet probably misses Zidane, as charming as Zidane is in this game. He has his wits about him. He's pretty charming in this. I mean, look, it's better than Cloud and Squall. So those chests will refill when you come back to Lindblum, and you will come back to Lindblum a few times in this game. Lindblum becomes like almost like a base of operations of sorts. I will select this active time event just to see what happens, just to give you some insight on what happens to Tantalus and how they got back home, because they are in the Lindblum Kingdom now. So, yeah. And remember where Cinna is here. He does drop something. Yeah, so apparently Blank found out a way to leave the forest before it got petrified. And so everybody in Tantalus, all of Baku's crew, left that way before the forest got petrified. So they escaped while we were trying to save Garnet, I guess. Which makes sense, I suppose. Yeah. And so now these guys are trying to figure out how to restore Blank. And how to soften his body from the petrification that he suffered from, so. Yeah, and Cinna's trying to make some coffee. And Baku's like, no, you're not gonna do that, my man. So, yeah. There's some pretty silly and disturbing scenes in Cinna in this game. He is definitely enigmatic to be as nice about it as I possibly can. But yes, there are definitely some creepy what's it called, characteristics about Cinna that are pretty unsettling. When you're in the forest, there's a number of ATEs where he like I don't know, where he does and says some pretty weird stuff. Like I said, this is more of a technical walkthrough type of LP rather than one where I show everything off, so it's not really gonna be, yeah. Oh. Yeah, so now Zidane's trying to see if he can see Garnet in the castle here. So we're allowed to go to the guest room, but we can't really go anywhere else. Oh. So now that Steiner has left, now it's up to Zidane to see if we can find out where Garnet is. That treasure chest, I think, contains a glass armlet. That other one contained an ether. And I think there is a letter, or, yeah, okay. This Moogle wants me to deliver a letter to Atla, who is a Moogle we will come across later on. So, very, very nice. Yeah. Now we get to hear her song again. Cool. How Zidane can hear this song from where he's at is beyond me, but whatever. I'm not gonna question it. Ah, yeah, let's see if I can do that. So you find the guard pretty much right outside the guest room. Easy enough. And this is I believe, like, I would say this is like a throwback to Final Fantasy VI, where you play as Locke and you have to steal NPCs, the clothing off of NPCs. I think that's kind of how it is, kind of how it looks like to me. And there we go, and perfect. Very, very easy. And now we get to see if we can find out where Garnet went off to. See what we can do. And here she is. Just upstairs, and where no one else is around, and here she is, singing to a whole bunch of doves. Nah, I'm just teasing. Yeah. There we go. I should turn this down here. Oh wow. The game volume is turned all the way down. I didn't want it to drown out. I didn't want it to get picked up on the microphone, but whatever. Now we're seeing through this telescope, we gotta discover a whole bunch of places. Or spot a whole bunch of places. Ah. Yeah. I believe there's like something else around here. Ah, there's a forest. Remember that forest, that's a pretty important place for later on. There's Southgate that we almost crashed through. And then the other half of the mountains there. Yeah. Alright. How this giant telescope is up here, I have no idea. Oh, it's probably like to see who's invading and stuff like that. That would make sense to me. Yeah, and poor Garnet. She just thinks that she really can't do anything. Every time she tries to help somebody, it backfires, apparently. It's been the story of her life for a while. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. They wanted to leave and take care of themselves and abandon Garnet. There you go. Yeah. That's the thing about Lindblum in this game is that whenever you go to Lindblum, you are pretty much gonna just be introduced to a whole bunch of cutscenes and talking and other dialogue and stuff like that, and it's pretty much where it's pretty much like, it's like, you know, here's what the plot has happened so far, and here's what's gonna happen now. Almost gives you some kind of insight, stuff like that, which I kind of like, but I kind of don't. It kind of does ruin the pace of the game a little bit, in my opinion. But hey, that's just how it is. Yeah. And this is Freya, who I was talking about. The US version of this game has her spelled Freya. The Japanese one, if you translate it from Japanese to English, it is Freija. So I've given her the Japanese English spelling there. And Fratley is a man who she went out with, who she's trying to look for. Yeah. And Zidane meets her at a pub that he goes to instead of eating with with Regent Sid here. So, yeah. And this is Regent Sid, giant oglop with a mustache. And this is reference to a lady who Zidane met at the pub, and he asks her if she wants to go on an airship cruise with him. And yeah, and and Zidane misfires here. Asked the wrong girl. Yeah. And it's funny how Garnet has like no real interest in Zidane, but she kind of does, because she did act pretty jealous. So. Zidane tries to recover, and yeah, God. She didn't even agree to that, Zidane. So this is the Festival of the Hunt. So there are a few things there are a few things you can do here. There are three possible winners. There are Zidane, Freya, or Vivi. Depending on what you do during the festival. If Zidane wins, you get money. If Vivi wins, you get a card. If Freya wins, you get a really good accessory called the Coral Ring. I want Freya to win because the Coral Ring is the best of the rewards. 5,000 gold you get, or gil you get from on winning, is pretty good, and the card is dumb. but the core ring is really good. You can get that by just having Zidane take himself out when the festival actually begins, which is what I'm going to do. So, yeah. And if you really want to take this seriously, there's an enemy called the Zagnol that you fight pretty much in the courtyard of the of the business district. So what you can do is, as Zidane, you go straight to the Zagnol and take him down, and that will pretty much clinch out your victory. So if you want to do that, you can, but I'm not going to do that at all. I want Freya to win because Freya's prize is the best that you can get. So when the festival begins, I'm pretty much just going to have Zidane just take himself down. Easy enough. Getting Vivi to win is actually pretty difficult. And you kind of need things to kind of go your way or whatever. It's pretty random. You gotta like time it almost. It's really like difficult to do that. So I'm not. That's like, why would you even do that? You get the Lindblum card, which I guess if you play the card game, it's pretty good, but I don't really care about it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay. Look what Steiner says here. A good offense is the best defense. Oh, Steiner. It's almost like Steiner's like living vicariously through Vivi here, because best believe Steiner would be this. For some reason, you can play cards with this guy. That's pretty funny. Oh, I guess you can't. Never mind. Alright, so the first enemy I run into here. I'll just go ahead and fight it and take myself out, and we're good. Boom. Ooh, down he goes. There we go. Zidane has retired himself. And Freya wins with 97 points. And the core ring. Very nice. And what's this? Oh, a soldier from Burmecia. Oh, no way. Uh-oh. Apparently black mages have attacked Burmecia. That's not good. Man, he's dead. That's unfortunate. Man. No way. And the festival is, apparently the festival, a whole bunch of people got killed during the festival. Soldiers and stuff, because Titania, or maybe they're hurt, maybe they just got injured. Yeah, something like that. Ah. Like what Zidane says there. It's like, what's this? I'm a stranger all of a sudden? Come on, let me join you. True. Like what Zidane says there. Because I really don't think there's going to be any convincing the Queen of Alexandria. And, you know, player knows about that too because the queen's like, yo, we need Garnet to or whatever, yeah. Anyways, whatever. There we go. So they got this big banquet, whatever. And as you find out, Princess Garnet has kind of poisoned the food. Not really, but put sleeping grass that Zidane gave to her in it. Even Steiner's like, no, do not leave, do not leave, do not go to Alexandria. Only bad things will happen. Yeah. So, that's a theme with Garnet, or Sarah, or Dagger, whatever you want to call her, in this game, is that she always tries to do the right thing, but it always backfires. And that's like the source of her pain. I really like how they do that in this game. Like, I really like how they do that in this game. Anyways. So, yeah. So, she, like, tricked us, or whatever. And, yeah. It's pretty bad. Oh, she's not going to Burmecia. But they do assume that she's going there because she wanted to go there earlier, so yeah. Okay, so now we gotta go to the bottom part of Lindblum. And we'll do that. That's what will get us to the grotto, but Gizmalug's grotto, which will then lead us to Burmecia. Very nice. So let's do that. There are two gates here. There is the Serpent's Gate. That's what this leads to. You will get a ship later on in this game, and that ship will be parked in the harbor at the Serpent's Gate. But for now, we just want to go to the Dragon's Gate. So, and there's a Moogle here. Gets a letter from Stiltskin, and Stiltskin is in Burmecia, so that's going to be the first Stiltskin location. This dude will sell items if you need to buy items, stuff like that. And now we are outside of the... now we're at the Dragon's Gate of Lindblum. Cool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. We'll do the exploring we need to explore. We'll do that later on. We'll do that next time on Final Fantasy IX Weapon Man. Take care, everybody.